Chapter 61 Yellow Spring Pass. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing this. Ling Mu, remember, we are now disciples of Kunlun, I am not some Princess C. Xuanhuan looked at Ling Mu seriously and said, forgetting what she said before that she would never be a disciple of Kunlun, huh? Hearing this, Ling Mu was speechless. Princess Z, from the moment I stepped onto the ladder, I considered myself a disciple of Kunlun. I'm waiting for you to call me senior brother. Ling Mu showed a hint of amusement on his face, looking at Xuanhuan teasing, secretly wanting to laugh in his heart. If he could let the princess of the Purple Moon dynasty call him senior brother, I wonder what the other young Tianxios in the Northern Sky region would look like when they know it. I'm really looking forward to it. Humph. If you want to call me, you should call me senior sister. Do you want me to call you senior brother? Unless you can beat me. Although everyone in the Northern Sky region believes that Ling Mu's strength is stronger than her, Xuanhuan herself does not believe what those people in the Northern Sky region say. Who is she? Possessing a special physique, she was praised by the ancestors of the Purple Moon dynasty as the youngest goddess king in the future. She suppressed many peers in the Northern Sky region and ranked third on the list of the top 10 geniuses, because everyone in the Northern Sky region ranked her after Ling Mu. It was also said that Ling Mu's strength was stronger than hers, which she did not believe, although she and Ling Mu had never fought. Ling Mu had fought with the first-ranked Imperial Clan genius. Although the two were tied, it was enough to show how powerful Ling Mu was, because the first-ranked genius was the Emperor's son of the Imperial Clan. His strength was an existence that everyone in the Northern Sky region had to look up to. Ling Mu could tie with him, which was enough to show how strong Ling Mu was. At this time, just when everyone didn't know what to do, they saw a sudden strong wind in the distance. Countless sand and dust were swept up by the hurricane, attracting everyone to look up. What happened? What happened? Is the test about to begin? Everyone looked a little excited, wanting to enter the test as soon as possible and then leave here, because this place gave them a really scary feeling, which made people feel creepy. After a while, the wind and sand retreated, and a city gate with an extremely ancient atmosphere appeared in front of everyone. Suddenly, everyone's face changed and they exclaimed. Look! That's a city gate. My fellow brothers, I'll go first. Seeing this, a disciple quickly went towards the city gate, not afraid of the terrible things inside. This disciple believed that the sect would not let them get into trouble. This was just a test, so he couldn't wait to complete the sect's test. Fuck. This fellow brother, wait for me. Then another disciple rushed over quickly, and everyone reacted at this time. How could they not know what they were thinking? Great. So you want us to call you brother in the future? Everyone who reacted also rushed towards the city gate quickly, fearing that they would lag behind others, and they all wanted to be brothers. Ling Mu and Xuanhuan looked at the city gate that exuded the ancient atmosphere and showed shocked expressions. The two looked at each other and hurried over. After a moment, everyone came to the gate, looking at the ancient gate in front of them with shocked eyes, and stood there stupidly. That's right. A gate. There is only a gate, nothing else. It is just a huge gate standing in the desert sand. Above the gate, there are three ancient characters that exude an ancient atmosphere, as if just one glance can take away the life of any living being. Xuanhuan Pass. Is this a pass? Why do I have a feeling that as long as I pass through this gate, my life will be gone? A disciple trembled and said, and everyone nodded when they heard it, with a little fear on their faces. Everyone had this feeling, especially the three ancient characters in front of them. They only looked at them as if their lives were slipping away. It's so scary. If the sect hadn't said it was a test for them, they would have wanted to leave here immediately and never want to come in again. This is still the first pass and it's so scary. Ling Mu and Xuanhuan felt the terrifying aura and their faces changed drastically, with a trace of fear in their eyes. What kind of sect is Kunlun? Xuanhuan said with a trembling voice. Even the eldest princess of the Xuanhuan dynasty could not remain calm at this time. You must know that the foundation of the Xuanhuan dynasty is extremely powerful, and nothing that can make her feel scared has not appeared yet. Kunlun is too mysterious. I wonder what kind of person is the leader of Kunlun. Ling Mu said with expectation. Compared with the horror here, He wanted to know what kind of strong man built Kunlun. Maybe this time, the catastrophe of my Lingxiao dynasty can be safely passed. Ling Mu thought secretly in his heart. Let's go in. Ling Mu looked at Zi Yunyan and said, he really wanted to know what kind of terrifying things were behind. Hearing this, Zi Yunyan nodded. Both of them knew that there would be no danger. Of course, there was nothing to be afraid of. They immediately came to the bottom of the city gate and took a look, then, as if thinking of something, Ling Mu turned his head and said to everyone. Don't stand here, everyone. Only by passing through this city gate can we know what's happening behind. Although it looks scary here, the sect will never put us in danger, so don't worry. Ling Mu then said that at this moment he was like a senior brother of Kunlun, thinking about his fellow brothers in the sect. This senior brother is right. Let's go in. Everyone heard this and followed Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan through the city gate. As everyone disappeared through the city gate, the 9 Netherworld test officially began, at the same time. Chapter 62, 2 Major Sacred Places in the Southern Wilderness, Tianxuan Holy Land. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the same time, Kunlun Main Hall, the light curtain appeared in front of Lu Chen, and inside it was the scene of the disciples testing their state of mind in the illusion of Xuanhuan. Lu Chen showed a smile as he watched the disciples pass through the city gate with Huangquaguan written on it. As expected of the system. We even found the underworld. I wonder if we can summon the powerful people from the underworld in the future. In fact, Lu Chen also knew that this was the world of Xuanhuan, not an illusion, but the strong people inside could not come out. Only when Kunlun's strength grows, will it be possible to call out a strong man of the underworld's level. These 2 disciples are actually at the level of Dongxiu realm. Lu Chen's eyes narrowed and he looked at the 2 leading disciples in the front of the light screen with a somewhat surprised look on his face. Lu Chen's eyes were shining, and his majestic gaze seemed to penetrate the light curtain in front of him. He looked at the 2 of them carefully. One had an extraordinary temperament, and the other had a stunning appearance. It's interesting. The cultivation of Dongxiu realm at such a young age seems to be related to the 2 saints coming here. Lu Chen was also eager to break the identity of the 2. He also wanted to see what kind of people could actually let the saint follow and protect them. Of course, if these 2 people really wanted to become Kunlun's disciples, Lu Chen wouldn't care too much about the 2 saints behind them. At the same time, in the illusion of Xuanhuan, Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan, who were walking in the Huangquan Pass, suddenly felt their hearts tremble violently, and their whole bodies couldn't help but shudder. The 2 of them looked at the sky in the illusion at the same time. Just now, the 2 of them suddenly felt that there seemed to be a terrifying gaze like a supreme god watching them from the sky. The 2 of them were shocked. What a terrible look! Did the people from Kunlun discover something? Although the 2 of them had never had any ill intentions towards Kunlun, due to their special status and the fact that both of them had a dynasty behind them, people in Kunlun might have thought that they were here to cause trouble. If it were before, the 2 of them would not be so worried, but now that they have seen the mystery of Kunlun, they do not want to offend a powerful enemy of a mysterious sect with unknown background and unknown strength for their respective dynasties. Although both of them have strong confidence in the strength and heritage of their respective dynasties, neither of them is afraid of the Holy Land of the Southern Wasteland. But now that Kunlun can actually have a small world, this has to be taken seriously by the 2 of them. Ling Mu, do you think someone from Kunlun discovered our identity? Zi Yunyan said with some fright. Even she felt a palpitation in her heart. What people from Kunlun? Those are the strong men of our sect, Ling Mu said seriously. Looking at Zi Yunyan, he couldn't help but feel helpless. This Zi Yunyan is soft in everything, but she is too tough talking. She has clearly seen the mystery of Kunlun and wants to stay in Kunlun to practice. He just refuses to admit it, which is very tough. Hearing this, Zi Yunyan was stunned. She really couldn't be as shameless as Ling Mu. Has this become your own sect? Where is your arrogance as the 2nd prince of the Lingxiao dynasty? Zi Yunyan looked at Ling Muchao angrily. Yes. You are right. Okay, remember. We are Kunlun's disciples now, and we cannot discuss the faults of our seniors here. Ling Mu said to Zi Yunyan in the tone of a senior fellow from the sect, and then looked at the people behind him. Junior brothers, senior brother, I will go in first and lead the way for everyone. Ling Mu walked to a door that led to an unknown place, and immediately stepped in. Seeing this, Zi Yunyan also chose a door and disappeared from everyone's eyes. This senior brother is a righteous man. We wish the senior brother and that senior sister can pass all levels smoothly, that everyone shouted as they watched the two disappearing people, and then looked at the countless portals that appeared out of thin air. Without hesitation, everyone walked into the portals one after another. At the same time, in a certain area in the southern wasteland, the peaks here are towering and full of spiritual energy. Countless beautiful buildings and jade buildings are entrenched on the mountain peaks. If you look at them from the air, it will definitely be extremely shocking. The majestic ancient temples are actually transformed into spiritual energy with strips of spiritual energy. Stairs connect each other and the peaks. This place does not belong to any state, it's as if it exists independently in the vast southern wilderness, but is invisible to people. Obviously, there is a powerful magic circle covering an area. The monks from the southern wilderness region would not be able to enter at all, unless the people inside took the initiative to remove the magic circle. And this is where Tianxuan Holy Land, the superpower of the southern wilderness region, is located. Tianxuan Holy Land is one of the two holy lands in the southern wasteland, and its heritage is second only to that of Taichu Holy Land. On top of the main peak, there is a magnificent ancient hall. A middle-aged man with a domineering face, slightly closed eyes, and an extremely terrifying aura all the time was sitting on the main seat. He is the Holy Lord in charge of the huge Tianxuan Holy Land, Kunlun, who has a terrifying cultivation level in the Saint Realm. Report to the Holy Lord. The Holy Sun and the others have already set off. Below, an elder with powerful cultivation in the Heavenly King realm looked at the Lord Tianxuan who was on the throne and said respectfully, "Well, very good. Now that the Great Age is approaching, the greatest opportunity in the ancient secret realm is about to appear. Our Tianxuan Holy Land will definitely become one of the strongest forces in the Xuanhuan continent in this life." Kunlun opened his eyes, and a breathtaking ray of light suddenly shot out from his eyes, as if a single glance could kill a powerful man in the Heavenly King realm. The Holy Sun Qin Wudao, the most gifted person in the history of Tianxuan Holy Land, entered the Heavenly King realm at the age of 27. Kunlun has absolute confidence that the Holy Sun Qin Wudao can get the biggest opportunity in the ancient secret realm. After all, only the younger generation can enter the ancient secret realm, and the older generation of strong people cannot intervene at all, otherwise there will be countless old immortals who will come out to snatch it. The biggest opportunity in the ancient secret realm is a secret, which all the super forces on the Xuanhuan continent know. Therefore, now all the super forces on the Xuanhuan continent have let the strongest young people in their respective forces go out to train, hoping to improve their cultivation and strength in the shortest time. It will be a month before they really fight, and countless young generation prodigies will fall at that time. Under the leadership of the Holy Lord, our Tianxuan Holy Land will definitely stand at the top of the continent. Hearing this, the elder below was excited and shouted loudly, and quickly flattered him. Although the Saint Sun Qin Wudao is now very talented, he has not really grown up yet, and Kunlun is still the boss of Tianxuan Holy Land. He still knows who to flatter. They are all old guys who have lived for tens of thousands of years. If they don't even have this kind of vision, then they have lived in vain. Yes, Elder Gu said it well. Our Tianxuan Holy Land will definitely stand at the top of the continent. Kunlun just likes this set. Not only is he not disgusted, but he also fiercely brags with the other party. Chapter 63, Tianxuan Saint, Training in the Southern Wilderness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Elder Gu, has anything happened in the southern wasteland recently? That at this time, Kunlun seemed to have thought of something and looked at Elder Gu and said slowly. Normally, Kunlun would never pay attention to anything that happened in the southern wasteland. After all, as the master of the superpower Tianxuan Holy Land, there was nothing worthy of his concern except the Holy Land of Taichu, but it's different now. The Great Age has come, and the ancient clans, ancient families, and even the great emperors and Taoists on the Xinwu continent have all been born one after another. The holy son of Tianxuan Holy Land is training in the southern wilderness territory again. It is inevitable that he will encounter some stronger younger generations. Then he is afraid that the holy son of Tianxuan Holy Land will kill someone by mistake, cause unnecessary trouble. He has absolute confidence in the strength of the holy son Qin Wudao, and believes that no one in the younger generation can be Qin Wudao's opponent. Of course, he also knows that although there are no hidden clans or sects in the southern wilderness region, those super powerful people from other regions will inevitably come to the southern wilderness region. Although Tianxuan Holy Land is not afraid, these are extraordinary times. Everything will have to wait for the opportunity to appear in the ancient secret realm, and wait for the holy son Qin Wudao to get the opportunity. By then, Tianxuan Holy Land can be said to have no fear of any force. Hearing this, the ancient elder below was stunned. He didn't understand when the aloof Holy Lord also cared about the affairs of the southern wilderness territory. After thinking for a while, Elder Gu seemed to have remembered something that had caused a lot of discussion in the southern wilderness territory recently, and then he respectfully said to Xian Kanglin. Reporting to the Holy Lord, something has indeed happened in the southern wilderness territory recently. Oh. What's the matter? Tell me. Xian Kanglin's face changed slightly, and he didn't expect that something really happened. He knew that something that could be remembered by an elder in the Holy Land was definitely not that simple. Yes, Holy Lord, a sect named Kunlun has recently appeared in Qingzhou in the southern wasteland, and it is rumored that there seems to be a saint in the sect. Hearing this, Xian Kanglin couldn't help but be stunned. Kunlun. What kind of force is this? Or is there the power of saints? Interesting. Among the forces he knew, only the Jun family had saints, and the other forces only had the Heavenly King realm at best. As the Lord of the Holy Land, he has a clear understanding of the background of many forces in the southern wilderness territory. Of course, Tianxuan Holy Land can destroy the power that only exists by saints with a snap of a finger. Elder Gu, you don't need to pay too much attention to a force that only has saints. Xian Kanglin glanced at the ancient elder lightly and said, he thought it was some big deal. It can be remembered by the elders of the Holy Land. The result is just a saint force. When Xian Kanglin saw this, Elder Gu's expression suddenly changed, and he instantly knew that his words had disgraced Tianxuan Holy Land. When does Tianxuan Holy Land need to pay attention to a small force with only saints? What's more, he is still an elder of the Holy Land and cares about these small things. It simply lost the face of Tianxuan Holy Land. As if he thought of something again, the ancient elder said quickly, hoping that what he said next would satisfy the Holy Master. Holy Lord, the rumor is that Kunlun is a hidden sect. The hidden sect. It would be okay if he didn't say it, but Xian Kanglin's face turned even more ugly when he said it. Hearing this, Xian Kanglin's face suddenly became angry, and a terrifying aura suddenly emitted from his body. He felt that Elder Gu was talking nonsense. An elder from the Holy Land actually believed the rumors from the outside world. What a disgrace to Tianxuan Holy Land. Humph, Elder Gu, I think this Holy Land elder is going back more and more. If there is a hidden sect in the southern wasteland, wouldn't this Holy Master know about it? Xian Kanglin looked ugly and said in a cold voice, what a hidden sect, what nonsense. Tianxuan Holy Land has stood in the southern wasteland for almost 1,000,000 years. What kind of power can be hidden from the eyes of Tianxuan Holy Land? This is simply impossible. Looking at the angry Xian Kanglin, Elder Gu was so frightened by this terrifying momentum that his legs softened and he almost lost his balance. Elder Gu's face turned pale and he quickly said, Holy Lord, please calm down. It's my subordinates who are overly worried. That at the same time, I smiled bitterly in my heart. Holy Lord. Isn't this what you asked me to say? You think I want to remember that Kunlun thing? You must hear it. Elder Gu didn't pay much attention to Kunlun in the first place, but Xian Kanglin wanted to know what happened. However, in the southern wilderness recently, only the Kunlun incident was well known to everyone in the states, and nothing else happened. Seeing this, Xian Kanglin did not blame the ancient elder and said calmly. Okay, if you have nothing to do, go down. As for the Holy Son's trip, we must ensure his safety. Yes, Holy Lord, please rest assured. This time there are 5 saint-level elders who have voluntarily followed the Holy Sun. No matter where the Holy Sun goes, no one will dare to disrespect the Holy Sun. Having said this, the ancient elder's expression changed slightly. The Holy Sun's talent was really terrifying. Just one outing for training could make many saint-level elders voluntarily follow him. Well, that's good. Kunlun certainly knew the purpose of those elders. The talent displayed by the Holy Sun Qin Wudao was destined to be the next generation of Tianxuan Holy Lord. Following him now would greatly enhance the status of those elders in the future, and when he retreats in the future, he will also become the foundation of Tianxuan Holy Land, which is something that all the Holy Lords of all generations have to experience. He also hopes that Qin Wudao can take Tianxuan Holy Land to a higher place in the future and let Tianxuan Holy Land stand at the highest point on the mainland. Holy Lord, I'll go out first. Well, go ahead. After Elder Gu left, Kunlun's abyssal gaze seemed to penetrate through layers of space and looked at a certain place in the Holy Land, muttering. The great world is coming, and the foundation of my Tianxuan Holy Land will also be truly born. The ancestor said that the passage to the upper realm will be reopened, the pattern of the Xuanhuan continent will also change, and even the supreme being of my Tianxuan Holy Land may return to the world. Speaking of the person he mentioned, Kunlun's pupils showed deep awe. That was a supreme being who was so terrifying that he could easily destroy a holy land, an ancient clan, or even an ancient family. When Kunlun heard the ancestor Tianxuan talk about the true foundation of the Tianxuan Holy Land, he was deeply shocked. The upper realm. That was a place he dared not even think about. He did not expect that as the Holy Lord of the Tianxuan Holy Land, if the ancestor Tianxuan had not talked to him about these, he would never believe that the Tianxuan Holy Land was actually related to the people of the upper realm. As one of the superpowers on Xuanhuan continent, Tianxuan Holy Land certainly knows some unknown secrets in the world. For example, the passage to the upper realm he mentioned will be reopened. No one knows what this means except the leaders and background of the major superpowers. Obviously, Xuanhuan continent may have had a passage to the upper realm in the distant past, perhaps tens of millions of years ago, perhaps 1,000,000 years ago, or even hundreds of thousands of years ago, but there is no record of the word upper realm in all the ancient books on Xuanhuan continent, as if it has been erased. This also leads to the fact that people on Xuanhuan continent now do not know about the existence of the upper realm. Chapter 65 The illusion ends, and all the disciples are terrified. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the same time, on the other side, buzz. Suddenly, a divine light covered the Kunlun Square, and then a series of figures appeared on the square. They were the disciples who were tested in the 9 Nether Yellow Springs illusion. Seeing this, Luo Lingxue and Qin Ruoxin smiled. They are out. Is it finally over? I wonder how many disciples can pass more than 3 levels. The 2 women looked at a huge stone tablet on the square at the same time, where there was information about how many levels the disciples passed. The 2 had already registered the disciples before, and now they only needed to wait for the information to appear on the stone tablet to know the result. At the same time, this stone tablet was a heavenly tablet, which was used to test the disciples' understanding. All the faces of the disciples were as if they were still in shock, as if they had encountered something terrible. Ha! Is it over? After looking around, the disciples relaxed their faces, took a deep breath, and recovered after a long time. It was terrible. No one knew what they had encountered. Why did it make everyone look so scared? Obviously, the things in the 9 Netherworld illusionary realm made them feel cold. Even though Ling Mu and Ziyunyan had powerful cultivation in the Void realm, they also showed a look of surprise on their faces at this moment. They couldn't imagine that there were still living beings inside. What kind of terrible sect is this? There is actually a small world where living beings can exist. Both of them are from superpowers, and of course they know something about the small world. At this moment, the 2 of them were already frightened. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would never have believed it. Ruoxian, look, the information is out. Luo Lingxue said excitedly when she saw a ray of light appear on the heavenly monument. Everyone was stunned when they heard this, and they didn't understand why. What came out? Didn't we come out? Ah. Senior sister, that thing came out, a disciple asked. Dear junior brothers and sisters, of course, the information about how many levels you have passed in the illusion has come out. Your information will be on that heavenly tablet. We will know whether you are an outer disciple or an inner disciple later. Luo Lingxue smiled at everyone and pointed to the heavenly tablet in front of everyone. Hearing this, no wonder. Everyone's expressions were excited. They didn't know which level they were in and which level they had passed. I didn't expect that they could only see it on the heavenly tablet. This is also to test the disciples' state of mind. In order to prevent people who enter the illusion from being affected by other factors, people inside can only go all the way until they cannot pass a certain level and will be teleported out. The light dissipated, and the information of the disciples had come out. 500 people passed the third level. 1,098 people passed the second level. 2 people passed the fifth level. Ruoxian, 2 disciples actually passed the fifth level. Luo Lingxue looked at Qin Ruoxian excitedly. This is really great. She also passed the fifth level, so she naturally knew what it meant. Qin Ruoxian nodded, her beautiful eyes flashed with a gleam, and she looked at Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan. She naturally knew that it was these 2 people, and no one else could pass the fifth level. Everyone looked at their information displayed on the huge monument, and hurriedly found their own results. Everyone was very excited, because it didn't matter whether they could become outer disciples or inner disciples, as long as they were disciples of Kunlun, it was enough, and of course those who could become inner disciples were even more excited. Many of the disciples here knew each other, and they happily called senior brothers and junior brothers to the people around them. When everyone saw that in the end, 2 people actually passed the fifth level, everyone was shocked and stunned. They didn't expect that someone could pass the fifth level in such a terrible illusion. At this moment, everyone admired the 2 people very much, thinking to themselves, these 2 senior brothers or sisters are really brave, but if they knew that Qin Ruoxian passed the 6th level, I really don't know what their expressions would be. Ling Mu looked at the information on the heavenly tablet and smiled bitterly. Do you know how he passed the 5 levels? That was all terrifying. If he hadn't come from a superpower, and his knowledge and state of mind were stronger than ordinary cultivators, he probably wouldn't have been able to withstand the test inside. Zi Yunyan was the same, and smiled bitterly. She really underestimated everything in the illusion, and thought that she could pass it all with her peerless talent and state of mind, but when she saw the terrible creatures and things inside, she couldn't help but feel fear in her heart. Next, it's to test the comprehension. This level is to let the disciples know how good their comprehension is. This can better stimulate the potential of the disciples. If the disciples know where they have deficiencies in cultivation, they can better make up for this aspect. Of course, comprehension can't be made up casually. If there is no thing to improve comprehension, it is impossible for the cultivator to make up for it by himself. Others may not have it, but Kunlun has it, and Lu Chen is a person with a system. It's just that Lu Chen can't take it out now. My fellow disciples, please line up now and place your palms on this heavenly tablet. The heavenly tablet will test your understanding and the defects in your cultivation in all aspects. After the words fell, everyone's face was extremely excited. They didn't expect that the sect had such a magical object. Then wouldn't their difficulties in cultivation be solved? Then, the disciples quickly lined up and came to the heavenly monument one by one to test their comprehension in various defects in cultivation. At the end of the crowd, Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan were also shocked, with some disbelief in their eyes. Kunlun really gave them shocks again and again. First, it was the 9 netherworld illusion. To be precise, it was a small world. Then there was a divine object that could detect the difficulties of the cultivator's own cultivation. Kunlun's mental shock to the 2 was stronger and stronger. Princess Zi, you don't have any difficulties in cultivation, do you? Ling Mu looked thoughtfully at Zi Yunyan, who was a little nervous, and couldn't help laughing. Zi Yunyan was praised as the youngest goddess king in the northern sky region. It would be exciting if she encountered some difficulties in cultivation. She will be the youngest goddess king. This is something that the entire northern sky region knows, so don't look at Ling Mu ranking above Zi Yunyan on the Tianjiao list, but everyone knows that Zi Yunyan's physique has not really grown up yet. Once it grows up, her strength will be terrifying in the future. After Ling Mu said this, Zi Yunyan's face changed slightly and she looked at him fiercely without saying anything. She thought to herself. I hope Kunlun won't find out my physique, otherwise it might cause trouble. Zi Yunyan was worried that Kunlun's heavenly tablet could detect her physique and thus discover her identity. If she hadn't entered the 9 netherworld illusion, Zi Yunyan believed that no one in Kunlun could see her physique, but now the more she discovered the mystery of Kunlun, the more uneasy she felt. She still wanted to practice in Kunlun, but she didn't want to cause unnecessary trouble with Kunlun because of her identity as the princess of the Purple Moon Dynasty. Chapter 64 Summoning 10 Great Saints. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. At this time, Wang Ming and others were also waiting and watching. Behind them, Luo Wu and Qin Zhan were both very excited, because their descendants not only passed the Heaven Ladder test, but also passed 2 levels in the illusion, and are now Kunlun's outer disciples. Even if they are Kunlun's outer disciples, it is enough to make the 2 extremely excited. The 2 believe that Kunlun will definitely become the strongest force in the southern wilderness in the future. As the disciples in front of them finished the test one by one, it was soon the turn of Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan. However, the 2 did not seem to notice that the expressions on the faces of the people who had finished the test were very excited and excited. It was even more exciting than finding a wife. Looking at the heavenly monument in front of her, which exuded an ancient atmosphere, Zi Yunyan gritted her teeth and put her hand on it. Buzz. A burst of light flashed, and then a divine light suddenly poured into Zi Yunyan's mind. Instantly, Zi Yunyan's face changed, but before she could react, a message suddenly appeared in her mind, which was her flaws and difficulties in cultivation, as well as her physical problems. Hiss. How is it possible? After reading the information that suddenly flooded into her mind, Zi Yunyan's eyes actually showed a trace of panic, and she was horrified in her heart. This heavenly tablet could actually detect her physique. Zi Yunyan was completely upset. Ling Mu also found something wrong in the back, but he did not ask. There was a trace of uneasiness on her face, and she prayed secretly in her heart. Princess Zi. If the people of Kunlun find out my identity later, you must not push me out. Ling Mu did not want to be suspected of having other purposes by Kunlun because of his identity. He just wanted to practice quietly in Kunlun for a while. Zi Yunyan looked at the heavenly tablet and found that there was no change. She felt relieved and thought to herself. Not bad. It seems that this heavenly tablet will only transmit information to the tester's mind. I didn't expect Kunlun to have such a magical treasure. Then Zi Yunyan walked aside as if nothing had happened. Although she hid it very well, Qin Ruoxian still saw something wrong. Qin Ruoxian's beautiful eyes moved, and she glanced at Zi Yunyan lightly without saying anything. Facing Qin Ruoxian's gaze, Zi Yunyan was suddenly slightly surprised. This 3rd sister of Kunlun seems to be not simple. She is also a cultivator of the Void Realm, but she seems to be able to see through me at a glance. I really didn't expect that she was just the 3rd sister. At the same time, another question came to her mind. Did the 2nd sister hide her cultivation? Why can a cultivator of the Dao Palace realm be the 2nd sister of Kunlun? Of course, she didn't expect that she would know Luo Lingshua's terrifying talent in the future. With the help of the strongest willow magic in the world, Luo Lingxue will completely show her peerless beauty in the future. Glancing at Ling Mu, Zi Yunyan wanted to see the other party's expression. How dare you laugh at her just now? As expected, after Ling Mu put his palm on the heavenly monument, the expression on his face also changed in shock. There was an unbelievable look in his eyes. It's not his fault that he has never seen the world. After all, every disciple is like this. After a moment, everyone has finished the test and learned their own situation in the heavenly tablet. I believe that all the disciples' cultivation will change greatly in the near future. At the same time, the awe of Kunlun in the hearts of all the disciples is hard to add. They didn't expect that they could not only become disciples of Kunlun, but also just entered the sect, and the sect helped them solve the problems in cultivation. This is definitely impossible for all the sects in the southern wilderness. No, it is impossible for all the sects in the Xinwu continent to do this. Those big sects only value talented disciples, and as for the outer disciples, they will not be valued at all, but now they can get such treatment in Kunlun. I will never regret entering Kunlun in this life. Everyone secretly swore in their hearts that they must be loyal to Kunlun until death. Even Lu Chen didn't expect that just this small thing would make these newly become Kunlun disciples so loyal to the sect. This is the result that Lu Chen wanted. At this time, in the main hall, Lu Chen has been observing the situation of everyone, and of course he will not show up easily. The sect leader still has to have some status. Recruiting disciples is enough for Luo Lingxue, Qin Ruoxian and Wang Ming, and with Qin Ruoxian's vision, he is also relieved, seeing that Kunlun finally has more than just a few scattered people. Lu Chen showed a smile on his face. Not bad, more than 1,000 disciples, although not even 1% of the disciples of those big forces. I believe that Kunlun will have more and more disciples in the future. Then, Lu Chen obtained the information in the heavenly monument through the system, and his face changed slightly after taking a look. 2 disciples actually passed the 5th level, not bad. Then, Lu Chen's eyes flashed with divine light, looking at the people in the square, and finally his eyes stopped on Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan. It turned out to be these 2 little guys, but before that, Lu Chen saw the cultivation of Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan, who had reached the cultivation of the Void Realm at a young age, and did not think of them. Because in the 9 Nether Yellow Springs illusion, what is tested is the state of mind, not that a strong cultivation can pass more levels. Strange. Logically speaking, these 2 people should be geniuses after passing the 5th level, so why is the system not responding? That at this time, he seemed to have thought of something, and his face suddenly turned cold. Lu Chen was about to ask the system for clarification. Just then, a voice sounded in his mind that made Lu Chen excited. Ding, congratulations to the host sect for receiving 2 genius disciples, 2 intermediate summoning cards, and 2 random lottery opportunities. In view of the fact that the host has recruited many disciples, the host will be rewarded with an immortal level sect protecting array. Note, all areas of the sect has been completed successfully. Ding, the system will reward the host disciple with an additional 100,000 sets of costumes, which have been stored in the system space, /. Chapter 66 Kendo Masters Gather in Kunlun. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Moreover, the strong men summoned by the system are all invincible in the same realm. I am afraid that the 5 great saints of the 9th heaven may be able to fight against the God King. I am really looking forward to it. Ding, the characters of the 7th heaven of the great saint are Shimen Chui Xue, Yi Gucheng, Xia Xiaofeng, Yan Shishan, and Yan Nantian. Note, the characters summoned by the system have their own cultivation methods, holy weapons, and magical powers. The character's cultivation will also improve as the host's cultivation breaks through. Fuck. Looking at the character information in his mind, Lu Chen was dumbfounded. These are all the top strong men in that world. Especially Yan Nanshan's strength is extremely powerful. He has realized the Zen sect. Among his 3 peerless magical powers, the wedding dress magic skill is the most perverted. At the same time, Yan Nantian is also known as the world's #1 magic sword. Then, Shimen Chui Xue, Yi Gucheng, Xia Xiaofeng, Yan Shishan, for sword masters. Which one of them has not reached the realm of swordsmanship where no sword is better than with a sword? Shimen Chushue has even reached the realm where grass, wood, bamboo and stone can all be used as swords, including Ah Qing. Kunlun now has 6 sword masters. Lu Chen is looking forward to who the other 5 great saints of the 9th heaven are. System, quick, check the information of the other 5 great saints. Soon, the system sounded in his mind. Ding, the characters of the 9th heaven of the great saint are Sword Saint Gainye, Sword Demon Dugu Qiubai, Sword God Li Chungang, Peach Blossom Sword God Deng Tai A, Sherpadian, /. Chapter 67 What is the cultivation level of the Kunlun Sect Master? You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the main seat, Lu Chen's face changed slightly, and he couldn't help but marvel in his heart when he saw the powerful sword intent bursting out from the 10 people, especially the aura from Li Chungang that seemed to open the sky with a single sword. He is worthy of being the best swordsman in the world. Buzz. The sound of the sword resounded throughout the entire hall, and the sword intent was fierce. This was a true master of swordsmanship. Just a random breath on his body could turn into a terrifying sword intent. if Lu Chen hadn't been here, the 9 of them would have had to compete with each other's swordsmanship. See this situation, Lu Chen smiled softly, and then said, he did not blame the 9 people for their behavior, but he understood their behavior very well. After all, there are very few strong swordsmen, not to mention that they are the top experts in the swordsmanship. I am afraid that everyone can't help but want to see them. Okay, elders, I understand your feelings. It is rare to meet an opponent, but there will be plenty of time in the future and there is no rush. Then, Lu Chen raised his hand and waved, and an inexplicable force instantly made the terrifying sword intent in the hall disappear. See it, soon the 9 people reacted, their expressions changed, they realized what they had done, and they dared to almost make a move in front of the sect leader. At this moment, even Sherpatian also hurriedly said respectfully to Lu Chen. Please, Sect Master, punish me for our reckless behavior. Smiling, Lu Chen looked at the 10 people and said. Nothing happened. Elders, I have 2 swordsman masters in Kunlun. In the future, you will have plenty of opponents so you don't have to worry about not having a chance to compete. There are also swordsman masters. When the 9 people heard this, their faces showed excitement. It was difficult for them to practice swordsmanship to the level like them. Sherpatian also looked a little excited. Although he didn't practice swordsmanship, he also wanted to compete with the 9 elders in front of him. This is a strong person that is rare to encounter. Yes, Sect Master. The 10 people looked a little excited and quickly replied respectfully. Okay, elders, you first go to the Elder's Peak and choose an attic as a training place. That is where I, Elder Kunlun, live. Then, as if he thought of something, he continued. I believe that I, Kunlun, will meet my opponent soon, and then all the elders will be able to fight to their heart's content. Hearing this, the 10 people's faces were filled with excitement, and they couldn't wait to let them practice quietly. Yes, Sect Master, I will retreat first. Lu Chen nodded, then the 10 people disappeared on the spot instantly, as if they had never appeared. Elder Peak is where all the elders and above from the inner sect of Kunlun live. Although Chen Beixian is the sect's guard elder, he also lives on the Elder's Peak, because not everyone can hold the position of guard elder, but the outer elders cannot live on the Elder Peak. Lu Chen wants to recruit some powerful monks from the Xinwu continent as outer elders in the future. Similarly, if there are strong people in the affiliated forces of Kunlun, they can also serve as outer elders. The position of sect elder, for example, Qin Zhan and Luo Wuxuang, Qin Lan, Luo Yuan and others. Wait until the 10 people leave. Lu Chen's eyes flickered and he looked at the disciples outside Kunlun Square. On the square, all the disciples have completed the test, and now it is time to arrange for them to choose a place to live on the Disciple Peak. The Disciple Peaks are of course divided into Outer Disciple Peaks and Inner Disciple Peaks. There is also a True Disciple Peak, which is a place where people who can be accepted as disciples by Kunlun elders live. So far, no disciples of our own can live on the True Disciple Peak. Even Lin Yun, Luo Lingxue, and Qin Ruoxian only live on the Outer Disciple Peak, because at the beginning, the sects were not perfect and successful, and many mountain peaks had restrictions. Now that all the sects' locations have been perfected, and there are more disciples, of course they must be distinguished. There is no circle without rules. Everyone's expressions were very excited at this moment, looking at the fairyland-like scene around them. They finally have a sect to rely on. No longer need to be bullied by monks with powerful backgrounds. At this time, everyone wanted to shout, I am a disciple of Kunlun, who dares to touch me? This is the confidence that Kunlun gave them. At this moment, Luo Lingxue and Qin Ruoxian were about to lead all the disciples to Disciple Peak. A voice full of majesty like a god resounded throughout Kunlun. Lingxue, Ruoxian, please bring 2 disciples, Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan, to the main hall. The faint voice is like speaking the law, and people can't help but feel a deep sense of awe when they hear it. Yes, Sect Master. Hearing this, Luo Lingxue and Qin Ruoxian said respectfully toward the main peak. Wang Ming, Luo Wuxuang, and Qin Zhan also bowed respectfully. The words fell, the disciples' legs actually bent slightly, as if they were about to kneel down, and then their faces were instantly filled with shock, and they were shocked in their hearts. This voice is my clan master in Kunlun. that the impact of this sound on them was really too great. It was just a sound. After hearing it, they couldn't help but worship. Fortunately, there was an invisible force behind them that gently lifted everyone up. At this moment, all the disciples were extremely shocked. The master's cultivation was too terrifying. None of them noticed at this time that two of them looked strange. And heard this, Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan were already stunned on the spot, with a hint of horror, disbelief, and a hint of panic in their eyes. The two of them exclaimed at the same time. Not good. He is the sect leader of Kunlun. Did the leader of Kunlun discover something? That the two looked at each other and saw a trace of shock in each other's eyes. When they heard the majestic voice, they couldn't help but kneel down like other disciples. They would not have such a feeling when facing their own ancestors. What kind of cultivation is their ancestors? That is the existence of saints and great saints that can be wiped out with just one word. Just imagine, even their ancestors can't give them such a feeling. How can this not make the two of them tremble? What kind of cultivation is the leader of Kunlun? How can it be so terrifying? At this time, Luo Lingxue and Qin Ruoxian, who came forward, looked at the two people and seemed to have something wrong with their expressions. Qin Ruoxian already had the answer in her heart, but Luo Lingxue didn't know and thought that the two were excited and at a loss, so she smiled and said. Junior brother, junior sister, congratulations. You must have passed the 5th level of the 9 Nether Yellow Springs illusion and alarmed the Sect Master. Let's go see the Sect Master now. She knew that the two had passed the 5th level of the 9 Nether Yellow Springs, so she thought that Lu Chen saw two outstanding disciples and wanted to meet them. Okay, two senior sisters. Ling Mu said hurriedly. Now he just hoped that it was the same as what Luo Lingxue said. Zi Yunyan also nodded, with a little panic on her face at this time, and there was no grace like the peerless genius of the Northern Sky region. Even with the Purple Moon dynasty behind her, she couldn't help but feel a little uneasy at this moment. This was her intuition. Chapter 68, Passing the 5th level of illusion. Will one achieve greater success than the Emperor I? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Next, Wang Ming and others were responsible for taking all other disciples to the Disciple Peak to arrange accommodation and explain some precautions of Kunlun. There is no order without rules. This is what every sect pays special attention to. If an outer disciple wants to be promoted to an inner disciple, not only must his cultivation reach the sect standards and make contributions to the sect, but Kunlun also has a mission hall, and he must also complete the mission standards set by the sect. Kunlun has no menial disciples. Lu Chen wants to build an unparalleled sect that dominates the heavens and the worlds. In the future, every disciple of Kunlun will be independent and even become a hegemon. There must be a shadow of Kunlun in any world, so that the word Kunlun will be praised by the heavens and the worlds. However, it is too early to say this now, but I believe that Kunlun will soon dominate the entire southern wilderness and even the Xianwu continent. In the main hall, on the main seat, Lu Chen, who was dressed in white and had no breath flowing all over his body, closed his eyes slightly, and I don't know what he was thinking. After a moment, Luo Lingxue and Qin Ruoxian walked in with Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan. As soon as they entered the hall, Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan couldn't help but look at the young man in white on the main seat, and then their pupils shrank suddenly, and they were shocked. Hiss! This is the leader of Kunlun. How is it possible? That Lu Chen is too young, and no one can believe that such a young man is the leader of such a powerful sect. Both of them had unbelievable eyes, and they couldn't believe that the leader of such a mysterious Kunlun was actually such a young person. Hello, leader. Before the two of them could react, Luo Lingxue and Qin Ruoxian said respectfully to Lu Chen. This call of leader made Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan tremble in their hearts. After looking at each other, they also shouted hurriedly. Hello, leader. At this moment, they only felt that in front of the young man on the main seat, it seemed as if there was an invisible pressure, which pressed them so hard that they dared not have the slightest disrespect in their hearts. How could it be so scary? On the main seat, Lu Chen, who was in a trance, slowly opened his eyes. It seemed that countless stars appeared in his eyes, and then disappeared in the blink of an eye. Then he looked at Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan below with a majestic look. Boom! The eyes like a god fell on Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan. In an instant, the two felt an endless chill in their hearts, and a trace of horror appeared in their eyes. Hiss. What a terrifying look. Even when facing the ancestors, I have never felt this way. The two couldn't help but tremble slightly in their hearts. Lu Chen saw the reactions of the two people. It seemed that it was indeed as he thought. After seeing the mystery of Kunlun, the two wanted to practice in Kunlun as disciples. Yes, you can pass the 5th level of the 9 Nether Yellow Springs illusion. In the future, your achievements will reach above the Emperor. Lu Chen said lightly, and did not immediately reveal the identities of the two. He wanted to see if the two would take the initiative to reveal their identities. Before this, he had communicated with the system and already knew the identities of the two. In front of the system, there is nothing in the world that the system does not know. Of course, the system will definitely not tell Lu Chen everything in the world. If you want to know anything in this world or even in the heavens and the worlds, you also need to match your own strength to know it. Everything in the world has cause and effect. When your own strength is not at that level, it is not a good thing to know something in advance. Lu Chen certainly knows this. What Lu Chen has to do now is to improve his own strength and Kunlun strength as soon as possible. The voice fell. Luo Lingxue and Qin Ruoxian's faces changed slightly. Above the Emperor. The two women reacted quickly. They absolutely believed what Lu Chen said, because they also passed the 5th level, and even Qin Ruoxian passed the 6th level. Lu Chen had said the same thing to them, but if this fell into the ears of others, they would definitely think that the other party was crazy, only to see Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan's faces suddenly changed, and they thought they had heard it wrong. Above the Emperor. What did they hear? Isn't the great Emperor the strongest in the world? Impossible. How could there be a realm stronger than the great Emperor in this world? They came from a superpower, and even their ancestors did not dare to say that there was a stronger existence than the great Emperor in the world. This Kunlun Sect Master is probably talking nonsense. However, the two dared not say this to their faces. Now they are on someone else's territory. Even if they came from a superpower, they dared not offend Kunlun directly after seeing the mystery of Kunlun. What's more, the Sect Master of Kunlun is actually the young man in front of them, which is enough to show that the young Sect Master in front of them is definitely not the real age they see. It is very likely that he is an old antique who has lived for thousands of years, and now he only looks young. The two thought about it in their hearts, and they both thought about dealing with Lu Chen's words first, and then they said at the same time. Master, isn't the great Emperor the end of cultivation in the world? No matter whether what the other party said was true or false, it was right to follow his words now. Although they now have a saint-level guardian behind them, it is still better to be careful. Ha! Lu Chen laughed in his heart. How could he not hear the meaning of the two people's words? He also knew that the great Emperor was the end of cultivation for the people of Xuanhuan continent. No one would believe it. That's true. Are there any other realms above the great Emperor? Perhaps only those extremely ancient and terrifying forces or those truly immortal people on the Xuanhuan continent know a thing or two. Lu Chen did not respond to the two people's words. He glanced at them and continued. Yes, you have reached the cultivation level of the Void Realm at such a young age. Tell me, where are you from and what is your identity? Hearing this, click. Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan's eyes showed a trace of panic, and their hearts suddenly tightened, and they said secretly, not good. The two of them didn't understand at this moment. I'm afraid that this young Sect Master has been paying attention to them for a long time. Sect Master, I come from a Tianxuan family in the Northern Sky region. This time I came to the Southern Wilderness region for training. I met junior sister Zi on the way and went with him. I just heard that there was a saint in Kunlun and he was recruiting disciples, so I came to Kunlun. Ling Mu said with an extremely serious face, and this sounded true. Hearing this, Lu Chen glanced at Zi Yunyan indifferently. Yes, Sect Master. Zi Yunyan said hurriedly when she saw Lu Chen looking at her. She had a better understanding of Ling Mu in her heart. She didn't expect that the second prince of the Lingxiao dynasty could boast so much. Ling Mu, how about you come? Hearing this, Chen just glanced at the two of them and didn't say anything, as if he was thinking about something. Seeing this, the two of them held back a bitter smile in their hearts. It was really that their identities and origins were too powerful. If they told the truth, it would be inevitable that the young sect master would think that they had other purposes for Kunlun. One is the second prince of the Lingxiao dynasty, and the other is the eldest princess of the Ziyue dynasty. They came to Kunlun from millions of miles away just to be a disciple. If this was said out, I'm afraid that no one in the northern sky region would believe it. If they were not facing the mysterious Kunlun now, they would not do this. If they directly told the identity of the dynasty, which force in the southern wilderness region would dare to disrespect them? It is true, but they are facing Kunlun now, at this time. Seeing that the two were still unwilling to tell their true identities, Chen snorted. Humph, do you think I don't know your true identities? Originally, I wanted to give the two a chance, because, the heart and character of the cultivators who can pass the Tongxin Tianti are definitely not a problem. And it was because the two accidentally came to Kunlun to participate in the disciple recruitment test that the system judged that the two were genius disciples and gave them 2 summoning cards and 2 lottery opportunities as rewards. Chen was still very satisfied with the two. How can you not be satisfied with something that is delivered to your door for free? You don't even need to go out and fool around freely. Fool around. Lin Yun, just read my name directly. Although the identity was concealed, Chen would not pursue anything. After all, the two are now disciples of Kunlun. Even if there are other forces behind them, once they enter Kunlun, they will always be disciples of Kunlun. Who dares to object? After a few transitions here, the big guys will speed up the pace soon. The plot will not be dragged later. Please forgive me, big guys. Thank you again for your support and gifts. If possible, big guys, please urge me to update more and give me a good review. Thank you. Chapter 69 Supreme Bone, Divine King Body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing this, Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan's eyes flashed with hesitation. After struggling for a while, they chose not to reveal their true identities. Master, please understand. We are indeed cultivators from the northern sky region. What we said is the truth. Ling Mu said with an unchanged expression. Seeing this, Zi Yunyan also spoke quickly. We dare not deceive the master. What we said is absolutely true. Please understand. They dare not bet whether the young master will take action once the true identity is revealed. Although they have a strong man in the Saint Realm to protect them this time, Kunlun is too mysterious. The cultivation level of this extremely young master in front of them is absolutely terrible. Even when facing their own ancestors, they would not feel this way. At this time, a terrible thought emerged in the minds of the two, above the great sage. What the two said is indeed true. They are cultivators from the northern sky region, but you two are not ordinary cultivators. The forces behind them are stronger than each other. Seeing the two say this, Chen's face did not change at all, but just said softly. Hearing this, Ling Mu and Zi Yunyan were stunned for a moment, then reacted and felt relieved, thinking that Chen would not ask about their identities anymore. For a moment, the hall fell into silence. The two looked at Chen, who had closed his eyes on the main seat, and after looking at each other, they were about to bid farewell to Chen and leave the hall. Just then, Ling Mu, the second prince of the Lingxiao dynasty, was born supreme, with supreme bones, and was born with the ability to use the supreme secret method to cover his supreme bones, so that no one in the Baitian area knows it so far. Zi Yunyan, the eldest princess of the Ziyue dynasty, has a divine king body, but unfortunately she has not been able to stimulate the true potential of the divine king body. Chen slowly opened his eyes again and said 2 sentences lightly, which made the two of them feel like they were hit by a bolt from the blue. The words fell, the two people's faces suddenly changed, their bodies suddenly froze, their pupils suddenly shrank, they were horrified, and they instantly raised endless chills. No. How is it possible? Who is he? How could he know that I was born with the supreme bone? Ling Mu couldn't believe that the young sect master in front of him not only knew that he was born with the supreme bone, but also seemed to know that person's existence. At this moment, Ling Mu felt cold all over his body, and his heart was trembling. Only his father and ancestor knew that he was born with the supreme bone in the entire Lingxiao dynasty. In addition, there was the person who used secret methods to help him cover up the supreme bone, Lingxiao dynasty. Ziyue dynasty. Luo Lingshue's pretty face changed, and she couldn't help but exclaimed. She really didn't expect that her junior brother and junior sister were actually from the dynasty, and they even have a special physique. Supreme bone. God King body. Then she looked at the two people with shock in her eyes. Although she didn't know what kind of physique this was, people who could have it would definitely be extremely powerful in the future. Her senior brother Lin Yun was like this. Qin Ruoxian looked at the two people and her face changed slightly. She didn't expect that such a physique could appear in the lower world. Originally, Lin Yun's saint fighting body was already difficult for her to accept, and now there are two people with the same body, and now they are also disciples of Kunlun. It seems that the way of heaven in the lower world has changed. Qin Ruoxian knew before she was reborn that there was a passage between the upper world and the lower world millions of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago. At that time, the cultivators in the lower world could go to the upper world to practice after reaching the limit of this world, but for some reason, the passage was broken later. It seems that a great immortal has completely cut off the connection between the upper world and the lower world. So far, there has been a saying in the Xianwu continent that there has been no emperor for millions of years, and even hundreds of years later, no one has seen the emperor again. I'm sorry, Sect Master, we have no choice but to conceal our identities. Please don't drive us out of Kunlun. Ling Mu took a deep breath, eased the shock in his heart, and a trace of awe appeared in his eyes. He looked at Lu Chen respectfully. At this moment, he didn't know that the young sect master in front of him was definitely an extremely terrifying existence. If not, how could he know the existence of that person in his Lingxiao dynasty? This also further confirmed that Kunlun was his opportunity, perhaps to become a disciple of Kunlun. Hearing this, Lu Chen glanced at the two people in the direction and did not speak. At this time, facing Lu Chen's majestic gaze, even Zi Yunyan did not dare to have the slightest disrespect. After hearing every word Lu Chen said, she was already extremely shocked in her heart, and she could not believe that the young sect master in front of her could see their origins and physiques at a glance. She did not expect Ling Mu to be a person with a physique, and it was the supreme bone, supreme bone. No wonder he could fight the emperor's son of the emperor clan, and it was not a secret that she was carrying the God King body in the northern sky region, because the foundation of the Ziyue dynasty was extremely powerful and there was no need to worry about these. Sect Master, we have no ill will towards Kunlun, and we did not intend to conceal our identities. We beg the Sect Master to let us be disciples of Kunlun. With a bitter smile in her heart, Zi Yunyan said to Lu Chen. The more she discovered the mystery of Kunlun and the terrifying young master in front of her, Zi Yunyan no longer dared to have any other purpose towards Kunlun, and only wanted to become a disciple of Kunlun. If she could become a disciple of such a mysterious and powerful sect, it would definitely not be a bad thing for their dynasty. Looking at the two, Lu Chen said calmly. I can see that you have no other purpose for Kunlun. As for whether you are a dynasty or an ancient family, it is enough for you two to be my disciples of Kunlun. The majestic eyes fell on the two people, which immediately made them feel awed, and then their faces were excited and happy. Great. The master has acknowledged our identity. It turns out that we are narrow-minded. That's right. Kunlun is so mysterious that it doesn't care whether they are a dynasty or an ancient family. As long as they enter Kunlun, they are disciples of the sect. Master, don't worry, we are disciples of Kunlun in this life and will never betray Kunlun. The two said excitedly. They are now honored by the word disciples of Kunlun, very excited in their hearts. Even though they come from the power of the dynasty and are knowledgeable, they believe that this is definitely just the tip of the iceberg for the mystery of Lu Chen and Kunlun. It is definitely not as simple as they see. Seeing the reactions of the two, Lu Chen nodded with satisfaction. Two geniuses with good physiques. Lu Chen certainly would not let them leave. Looking at the four people in the hall, Lu Chen sighed slightly in his heart. In addition to Lin Yun who was training outside, now Kunlun has only 5 genius disciples. Although there are more than 1,000 disciples now, most of them are still too weak. It seems that the overall strength of Kunlun must be improved as soon as possible. Big guys, this plot transition is over, and the rhythm is going to pick up later, don't worry, big guys. The plot has been unfolded, and the author is working hard on coding. Chapter 70 East Sky Region, 5 Saints Set Out. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the same time, in the southern wilderness, countless forces and monks had already exploded because Tianxuan Holy Land was born, and what shocked everyone even more was. Hiss. What? The holy son of Tianxuan Holy Land is actually born. That the monks from various states looked extremely shocked and started talking among themselves. All the monks in the southern wasteland have not seen people in the Holy Land for countless thousands of years, although there was an elder from the Holy Land of Taichu who really dominated the southern wasteland before and went outside Qingzhou. No one from the Holy Land walked in the southern wasteland anymore, otherwise, how could the southern wilderness region have been dominated by the top 10 overlord forces for tens of thousands of years? Oh my God! The Holy Son of the Holy Land was actually born. Have you noticed that not only the southern wilderness territory, but also other great regions seem to have countless powerful forces recently, and there are rumors that ancient clans and even ancient families have been born, that a monk said seriously. Damn it! Something big is going to happen. That as soon as these words came out, everyone present was instantly shocked. Everyone was wondering what big event was going to happen, that even those forces were born. Even if the ancient secret realm is born, it will not allow such forces to be born. Because in the past, when the ancient secret realm was born, such forces have never been seen. What they don't know is, at this moment, not only is the southern wilderness region turbulent, but all major regions on the Xuanhuan continent are already turbulent, even the demon realm that has been silent for tens of thousands of years in a distant area. There are countless terrifying auras permeating the huge demon realm at this time. If someone feels it in the uppermost sky of Xuanhuan continent, they may find that there are countless powerful auras or powerful figures in all the great areas coming towards the southern wilderness territory. Right now, over the southern wilderness territory, suddenly, roar. Ho ho ho. Thunder-like roars of monster beasts roared, instantly resounding throughout the southern wilderness territory, causing the expressions of the monks from various states to change. Whether they were in the God Transformation realm, the Cave Void realm, or even the powerful Heavenly King realm, their expressions were all changed at this moment. Big changes. Not good. This is the sound of a monster. That everyone couldn't help but show a hint of fear on their faces, and a strong man in the Heavenly King realm instantly appeared and roared. Damn it! Are the demon clan going to start another riot? How dare they tear up the agreement with my human race? Everyone's eyes were fixed on a certain spatial location above the southern wilderness territory, where extremely powerful demonic energy was permeating the air. The southern wilderness territory is also the closest to the demonic territory among the human race's major regions. 50,000 years ago, the demonic territory launched a turmoil, and countless demonic armies attacked the southern wilderness territory. That day, the southern wilderness territory was beaten to pieces. Countless strong men fell and almost fell. In the end, a powerful human race negotiated with the demon race to resolve the crisis. Therefore, such a huge roar of a monster instantly made everyone in the southern wilderness region nervous. I saw, the space suddenly trembled violently, and countless spatial cracks appeared instantly, as if it could not withstand the squeeze of some powerful force and was about to collapse at any time. Ho ho ho. Hearing the terrifying roar of the monster, everyone stared into the void. I saw 5 monster beasts with huge bodies exuding the powerful aura of the Heavenly King realm walked out of the space pulling an extremely luxurious car. There were 5 old men with extremely powerful auras around the car. They looked like 5 old men. Like a servant, hiss. Heavenly King realm monster. Or 5 blue sky thunder demon tigers. Everyone took a deep breath, and their pupils shrank sharply when they saw the person behind them. Who is that? Such a generous gesture. The 5-headed blue sky thunder demon tiger of the Heavenly King realm was actually used to pull a cart. At this time, the powerful man in the Heavenly King realm looked at the old men around him, and his face was instantly filled with fear. Saint. 5 saints. The Heavenly King was suddenly covered in cold sweat, and a figure appeared in his mind, Tianxuan Holy Land. The sun is traveling. Ho ho ho. The 5 demon tigers roared again and again, and a young man with a strange face sat in the seat behind. Feeling the frightened eyes of everyone below, he smiled evilly. Is this the current strength of the southern wasteland? It's too bad. Hearing this, an elder next to him quickly flattered him. This is because you are so powerful, Holy Son. Naturally, these people cannot be taken lightly by you. Chen Wudao nodded and said nothing, but he enjoyed these flattering words in his heart. Moreover, the other party is also a saint-level elder in the Holy Land. He is the Holy Son of Tianxuan Holy Land, Chen Wudao, and has a powerful cultivation level in the Heavenly King realm. Reaching the realm of Heavenly King at such an age naturally made Chen Wudao arrogant, thinking that no one among the younger generation of Xianwu continent could be his opponent. For example, in this experience, he pays special attention to the aspect of pomp and circumstance. He enjoys the kind of looks that make people look at him with fear. Subsequently, in everyone's horrified eyes, the 5-headed blue sky thunder demon tiger pulled the seat and disappeared from everyone's eyes. Call. Everyone exhaled heavily and felt relieved. It's really scary. 5 monsters in the realm of Heavenly Kings can pull carts. Who can do this? Just then, someone suddenly exclaimed, seeming to have thought of something. Hiss. Then, that must be the Holy Son of Tianxuan Holy Land. Holy Son. Immediately, all the cultivators in the states reacted. They couldn't think of anyone else in the southern wilderness who could have such a grand ceremony except the Holy Son of Tianxuan Holy Land. At the same time, above Qingzhou, buzzing, 0.5 tall figures appeared in the void, each of them exuding a terrifying aura. You two, are you sure there is only one saint in Kunlun? A figure looked towards the direction of the burial Immortal Mountains and made a hoarse sound, as if he hadn't spoken for tens of thousands of years. It should be correct. Humph, you two. Kunlun can be built in the burial Immortal Mountains. Can you be sure there is only one saint? Another figure said, and it was obvious that these old figures with terrifying auras seemed to be going to attack Kunlun. The ancient token is in Kunlun's hands, and Kunlun dared to kill people from my 9 Nether dynasty. I must destroy this Kunlun. Yutu said in a cold and bloodthirsty voice. Yutu is the ancestor of the Joyo dynasty, a 3rd-level saint. Before he woke up, he did not come to the southern wilderness to destroy Kunlun immediately, thinking that a small Kunlun was not worth his attention and could be destroyed at will, but later, Kunlun shocked the entire southern wilderness, so that the people of the Joyo dynasty in the southern wilderness also learned the news. Returning to the Joyo dynasty, he informed the Joyo king of what happened in the southern wilderness. Later, the Joyo king hurriedly informed the Joyo ancestor of the matter. After some understanding, he also knew that there was a saint in Kunlun. The Joyo ancestor did not dare to take risks. Later, after notifying the ancestors of several other top hegemonic forces in the East Sky region about the ancient token, they came to the southern wilderness together to deal with Kunlun.